This is like the ultimate breakdown of how to start from scratch on managing.
Literally from scratch.
Honestly, anybody can do this. It's just a matter of if you want to literally turn your life around and feel like you can afford anything that you want.
I told you stories of like where I have to go to Safeway and it's literally like $2 in my account. One time I got the Alphagettis, so I think they were like 97 cents. So I would get those, get a whole bunch of stuff, go to self-checkout, not scan everything else, just scan the Alphagettis. Because that's the only thing I could afford. When you have a child or when you find out somebody's pregnant, the fear of being able to afford that situation, I feel like takes away all of the joy, which was so sad. Because for a long time, I wanted to be so happy that this is it. Like it's everybody's saying it's a blessing, it's a blessing, it's a blessing. But I couldn't see it as that because all I could think was, can we afford this?
We're making less money, but we're able to buy more.
It makes no sense.
No, it doesn't.
It will though if you watch this whole entire video and follow this plan.
Yeah.
Hi.
Hi.
How are you today?
Great.
Great. Why great?
Am I great?
Wow. So you just said that for the camera.
No, I actually feel good. You know, honestly, when I was in the shower, I was like, wow. It really changes the whole day.
What does?
Just taking a shower in the morning.
Wait, you don't usually shower?
Well, no, like I do, but like being honest, like during pregnancy, like I didn't take as many showers as I used to.
Remember the first trimester?
Okay, we don't gotta talk about that.
Yeah, you didn't shower for like 2 weeks.
No, it wasn't
Yes,
2
it was like
weeks.
2 weeks.
No, it wasn't.
Yes. All you would do is literally get up, puke, make food that didn't taste good, and go back to sleep.
Cereal.
Cereal, you ate cereal.
And a yogurt.
Yeah, and we're in the basement suite, so the living room wasn't even the living room. So you were literally just in bed, stinking up the room, sweating, no windows, no any sort of natural air, just in the basement suite, not showering. Look at you though, look how far you've come. So you feel great. Why do you feel great? The shower?
Yeah, like the shower, just like, because the nights are just so... There's just so much, like, milk spills all over me. I'm sticky. Like, I just feel, like, from changing her diapers, like, I just feel dirty.
Yeah.
I'm so sweaty. Yeah. Like, it's so much that goes on in that one night.
Yeah. It's a good reset.
It's such a reset. Like, I just feel so much. And I pluck my eyebrows.
Let me see. Oh, okay, girl.
Yes.
Okay, girl.
So, like, I feel good.
Yeah.
And I put on some new pants that haven't been able to be worn in months, so that felt nice.
Yeah, you look good. You're getting your body back, stomaching.
Yeah, I was like looking in the mirror and I'm like,
okay, girl.
It just made me like so excited to like get back to like the gym.
Yeah, literally yesterday I was looking, cause me too. I miss the feeling of being at a gym.
Yeah, a gym.
Yeah, so I was looking at prices for that gym again.
Yeah,
I think it's like $100 for one person, and you can't bring a guest. Well, you can bring a guest, but I don't think we would have to go together, which obviously is not possible.
Same time, no.
So I wonder if it's like a picture that they see. Like I wonder how it's set up. Because we could like always finesse the system. Yeah.
But no, physically going to the gym, it just like kind of getting out, even just being around other people.
Yeah, just
that
the
are going
vibe,
to the gym.
energy.
It's like, ooh, you're working out. Oh, or you get like ideas from other people. Like it's not the same at like a home gym.
It's not.
I always thought it would be so beneficial, but it's really not the same.
You need the atmosphere.
Yeah,
you
definitely.
Need people to see that.
And even to just like get out of the house. Yeah. For others to see the change. And to like see,
Even the aspect of like taking the pre-workout.
Yeah.
You can take pre-workout and go to a home gym. You don't have it as much.
No.
Yeah. So I definitely want to. Yeah, 100%.
Because I'm excited to get back to the gym. It's gonna be there's no way I'm waiting 6 weeks. I'm like ready to go next week.
You gotta wait. Delayed gratification.
Well, I don't know if it still is that long. I think it might depend on like.
Are you progressing quick?
Yeah, I think so.
I think so.
But yeah. So to answer your question, I'm feeling good.
Feeling good. Not great, but good.
I'm gonna stick with great.
You're feeling great?
Yeah.
That's good. I'm glad.
How are you feeling today?
I feel good. What time is it? It's 1 o'clock?
Yeah.
It feels later.
You're up a little bit earlier today.
That's why I think I feel a little bit better. Because typically 1 o'clock these days, I'm waking up at 12.
Yeah.
But the fact that I woke up at like 10? It's still a little bit late. I still want to wake up at like 8 o'clock ish. But I feel
Well, I
good
tried to wake you up at 8 o'clock.
by tapping me. I thought you were massaging me. That's not waking me up.
I didn't want to be mean, so I was just like this. I was shaking you for a bit, and I thought that would. And then even when I like pulled the blanket off of you, like I pulled it off, so I feel like you would get cold, but that didn't work. So I put my hand like in your shirt, and I'm like just
You
like
were-
here.
wait.
So and I'm like rubbing your chest, so like physical touch you would have woken up to.
You
But
put your hand in my shirt
Yeah.
without my permission?
yeah,
That's a cancelable offense.
no,
You're right. I like it.
clearly because you were like,
Yeah, but no, I feel good. I feel good.
Good,
I'm
good.
excited to talk about this topic.
yeah, I know.
This
I just
is a
already
topic-
know that
yeah.
it's gonna be it's gonna be a good
It's
one.
gonna be a good one. This is one that we talk about like in our personal lives.
Yeah.
Like you've talked about it with your friends. I talk about it with my friends. I read about this topic. I research
Yeah.
this topic.
Yeah.
Like this is a topic that I think is very, very important. In my previous relationships, I don't think I ever talked money or finances.
No, it was always a secret
It was a secret.
to each other. Like you don't tell each other like how much money you have. Like you're just dating. Like it's just a secret.
Yeah.
You know? Yeah, I'll pay for that. I'll pay for that. Can't actually afford it, but
What do you think that is?
I don't
Is it
know.
the-
I think it might be like a pride thing.
Oh, yeah. I think for me, it was more of an embarrassment thing. I think for me, it was more of an embarrassment thing. Like I never felt comfortable to tell somebody, "Oh, I'm broke," or "I can't afford that."
Definitely not.
No.
Or like, yeah, someone asks you to go out and you're like, I can't afford to go
Yeah.
out for dinner.
No. Ew.
Like,
Who
but
would say
now,
that?
like, if someone asks, like, yeah, if I can't go out, I can't go out.
Not even somebody else, but more like in our dynamic as well.
Yeah.
I feel like being very open with how much money we have changed a lot of things.
Yeah.
And like these are like, we have a lot of these, but these are like grown people conversations.
Yeah.
And I feel like that's without these conversations and without all finances being on the same page, I don't think we would have made it this far.
No.
No. Because even very, very early on, it allowed us to talk on a more vulnerable level. Because telling somebody that you can't afford to do something is tough.
Very.
Yeah.
It's just embarrassing.
It's embarrassing, especially at the beginning of the relationship.
Yeah.
And me being a guy as well.
Yeah.
Of course, you want to seem like, oh yeah, I can pay for this, I can pay for this, I can pay for this. But really, it's a credit card paying for this. You go back home like, oh my God. When you're out, you don't even enjoy it as much.
No.
Like you're price checking the menu. It's guilt spending. But now I feel like when we go out or when we plan a date night or when we buy furniture,
Yeah.
it's guilt-free spending because
Yeah.
we're on the same page financially and the budget we're about to discuss in this video
Yeah.
is the basis of all of that.
Yeah. This is like the ultimate breakdown of how to start from scratch on managing your money.
Literally from scratch with your
And
partner.
like honestly, anybody can do this.
Anybody.
It's just a matter of if you want to literally turn your life around
Yeah.
and feel like you can afford anything that you want. Because at this point in my life, I know that I can afford anything I want.
Yeah.
Honestly, because I know how to manage.
Yeah. It's not the fact that we're making any more money.
No.
We literally just are managing it better.
Yeah.
And we don't use
Like,
credit cards anymore.
Another
So you really, sorry, go on.
No, go on.
No,
You
I'm
go
saying,
on.
so you really can afford it.
Yeah, it's not the bank.
It's not
paying
the
for
bank.
it. It's
not.
you paying
It's
for
not
it.
American Express. It's not credit cards. There's no interest.
No.
In fact, with our bank now, we get interest.
Yeah. Yeah. Literally.
It's crazy. So yeah. Now, what were you about to say though?
Like the other day when we went for dinner and I was talking about Fabiola's like winter jacket.
Yeah.
And I knew like how those Aritzia jackets are like $350.
Mm-hmm.
But when I was like talking about it in the past, I would have been like, there's just no
No
way,
way, yeah.
ever I can get that jacket
Yeah.
unless it's like I asked for it for a special occasion.
Yeah.
You know, but now I'm like, I want that jacket. I'm going to make that happen. I'm going to get that jacket.
You have to plan for it. We add it to our budget.
Yeah.
We plan for it using our planning system we're about
and
to
then it's not
discuss.
a problem.
It's literally not. That's why our vision board this year feels more realistic to me.
Yeah.
Like when we put one vacation this year or buy a car
Yeah.
this year
Yeah.
or furnish the house or Christmas presents,
Yeah.
it's not like a dream. It's like, no,
Yeah.
this is on our vision board.
Yeah.
We adjust it, we add it to our conversations, and it will happen. It's been such a game changer.
It really
I feel like
has.
another thing as well, I remember I told you about this, but even when you were coming over for vacations, when we didn't live together,
Oh, yeah.
And you weren't even aware of how much money I had.
Yeah, I just thought that I was like, oh, okay, he can pay for this. He
Yeah.
can pay for this.
Exactly.
Damn.
Which is crazy because I had no money.
Yeah.
But even the pressure of you coming, not knowing I have no money, me keeping up this facade like I have money.
Yeah.
Like I told you stories of like where I have to go to Safeway and use the self-checkout because you're like, oh, can you go downstairs and buy this? I'm like, yeah, I guess. And it's literally like $2 in my account.
Yeah.
So I literally have to go to self-checkout, get a pack of noodles. I literally remember walking in Safeway trying to find something under $1. I think the alphagettis. One time I got the alphagettis because I think they were like 97 cents. So I would get those, get a whole bunch of stuff, go to self-checkout, not scan everything else, just scan the alphagettis. Because that's the only thing I could afford.
Really?
Yeah.
That's crazy.
And then I go back upstairs like nothing happened.
Yeah.
But the pressure that was on me at this point was crazy.
Yeah.
Like even planning the trips, all this stuff. But now a big change we've made is now that we have the same bank account and we have these conversations together and we plan on a bi-weekly basis. Here are our expenses, our income. How do we allocate this? It's just so relieving.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
And just knowing that, like, even just, I think it took me a while to accept at first, like when I wasn't really making any money, when you get paid, it's our money.
Yeah.
Like that was really, really hard for me to accept because I want to make money too. I want to contribute to, this joint account that we've decided to do together. But like, if I'm not getting any money, like that sucks. Like I don't. So just knowing now that like I've accepted it and knowing that I'm also bringing in income is like when you get paid, I'm like, oh, did we get paid? Like, ooh, now we got money now. Yeah. It's not I got money or you got money.
Yeah. Which is a big change. At the beginning, it was hard to accept that, but now it literally is our money.
Yeah. Which
is a big benefit of using the same bank account because our deposits go to the same place. And the bank we're going to talk about later that we use makes all of this so much easier. We both have it on our phones. You can log in, see how much money I deposited, how much money do we have, how much money we don't have. And another thing is that now when we go on date nights, we both know how much money we have to spend. Yeah. It's not like, who's paying for this?
Yeah. Yeah, that's another big thing. Is like when you're first dating somebody, it's kind of like, at first you expect the guy to like to pay for the things. Yeah. But as time goes on and you're a little bit deeper into the relationship, it kind of becomes a thing where it's like, okay, you remember he paid last. Yeah. I'm going to be like, oh, I'll get this one.
Yeah, now you got to keep accounts.
So now it's like just knowing that everything's in the same and we budgeted for it together. Yeah. Like, okay, tonight we have $200 to spend for date night. It's like, we don't have to be like, who's going to pull out their card at the end of the night.
Exactly. The other thing is, when you do that, it builds up a little bit of resentment, I think. Like if we go on like 10 dates in a row and I pay for all 10 of them, it might not seem like it up front, but low-key in the back of my head, I'm going to be like, damn, when is she going to pay for it?
Yeah, of course. Of course.
Yeah. I think the whole finances thing is a very big problem in relationships. And it has been in all my past ones. But since we have started having these conversations and the way we budget now, complete game change. The main reason I wasn't as nervous when you told me you were pregnant was because of the budgeting.
Oh, really?
Because I remember the night you FaceTimed me when you were in Vancouver, when you FaceTimed me to tell me you were pregnant. That same night I was doing our budget because we were already planning on getting to the right habits. So that same night I was already doing this same budget we're about to talk about. Yeah. And I remember seeing all the expenses in my head. And when you told me, immediately my mindset was just like, oh, we just got to lower this. We can afford this. Because again, when you have a child or when you find out somebody's pregnant, the fear of being able to afford that situation, I feel like takes away all of the joy, which was so sad. Because for a long time, I wanted to be so happy that this is it. Like everybody's saying it's a blessing, it's a blessing, it's a blessing. But I couldn't see it as that because all I could think was, can we afford this? Yeah. But when we started allocating things, I'm like, oh my God, like it was just pure joy.
Well, that's actually a really good point because if you think about it, like imagine, same situation, just two people dating not that long and they find out that they're pregnant, but they haven't, talked about their money situation. Can you imagine the stress that they would feel being like they're both bringing in a child that they're both responsible for?
I can't imagine.
How are they going to who's going to pay who's gonna get the diapers? Who's gonna get like these?
Exactly.
So
Exactly.
it's like, that's so much pressure.
Yeah.
Knowing that you guys don't, your money's not together, and it's like, well, who's gonna buy the things that for the kid that they need?
Exactly.
And I feel like most of the time, as the woman, they're gonna be like, oh, I have to get this for the kid. They need new clothes. I have to go, and then they're gonna be like, what about?
Or even for yourself. Like when you were pregnant, there was a bunch of stuff that you had to buy.
Yeah.
It was never a factor of, oh, do I gotta buy this myself, or is he gonna help me out? It's no, it's our money.
Yeah.
This is our family. We're doing this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, that's true. Like at first, there's definitely things that you need to get, but yeah, at that point, I think we were just starting to.
We were just starting. Literally the same month or the same, like we were just getting our habits together.
Yeah.
Which I think helped the transition so much better.
Oh yeah, it definitely has. Just can't imagine like not being on each other's, like knowing each other, how much debt we have, how much we're making, and having to raise a kid. Like it just wouldn't. It just wouldn't work.
There's just so much unknown variables that would be in the air. And one of the biggest arguments people have, or couples have, or parents have, is the finances. Like even in my family, I don't think I ever discussed finances with anybody. It was just like this big dark cloud hanging above us.
Yeah.
But now the openness that we have talking about this because of this budget, I feel like it's such a game changer. And like even when Aaliyah is a little bit older and her siblings, we can have these conversations like, hey, here's how we can plan to afford this.
Yeah.
Here's what we're doing. Here's where the money is going. Here's how you plan ahead instead of just, or you get paid or go on a shopping spree. No. Make sure every single thing, that every single dollar in your account, like we will discuss in this video, has a name.
Yeah.
It needs to, like, because people are impulsive.
Yeah.
And as much as we want to be like, oh, we have the discipline, or we trust ourselves, no, make sure it's on paper. Like we get to teach our kid these financial lessons that we're learning.
Yeah.
And I'm excited for that as well.
I agree, which is like so exciting to know that we have the knowledge to be able to show her and explain to her how you can manage your money properly. And be able to afford things, even starting at a young age. You know, as soon as you start earning money.
Allowance, as soon as you get your allowance, which we'll discuss again later on in this video.
Yeah, that's actually a funny thing because like I think that it is good for kids to, you know, eventually get allowance because it shows and it gets them to learn, you know, how to be able to get things that they want. Yeah. And so it just goes the same, like we'll get into giving yourself an allowance. It just makes sense. Yeah. Instead of just having money everywhere and spend. It
also teaches you delayed gratification. Like I love that story that you tell about how your dad used to give you guys money when you go on vacation, and then Sage would save her money, but you would spend yours immediately.
And be like, you want to borrow?
Yeah, but when you plan ahead and you have that delayed gratification, like, oh, maybe I save up 2 allowances and I can afford this. Yeah. Instead of just spending it all at once. Yeah. But a big change.
Huge.
Yeah. Another big change that we made as well before we began this budget that we committed to was no more credit cards.
Oh, yeah.
At all. Like, at all, which was very big. Especially being broke, having no savings, having no backing or nothing. We're like, hey, we're following this plan, this budget, this secret, no more credit cards at all.
It's actually crazy how fast we decided to do no credit cards and actually stop.
The implementation was crazy.
Yeah, because even just like, you knowing your dad at first, me knowing mine, and at that point, not even for me, like I wasn't even making any money, to just be like no credit, like that's what I was living off of. Credit card. So like just deciding not to use that and just how fast we were able to budget and show like that first time we decided to budget, it was like, oh my gosh, we realized. I think we decided on like $50. It was like $50. You can do fine on $50 as an allowance. Yeah.
I feel like there's just it's a mental barrier with credit cards.
Yeah.
Like people think, oh no, I need it in case of emergencies. Get an emergency fund.
In a way, like I was like, oh my gosh, like what am I gonna do? Like I don't have a credit card, and that's a normal feeling to have.
It's very normal, yeah.
You know, relying on your credit card, knowing okay, like let's go out. You try to use your debit. Oh, okay. I guess I'll just use my credit card. Like, it's fine.
It's literally like, like you're waiting to use it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'll try to use real money, but like it's better if I just use the fake money.
I feel like it's just such a fake flex in our generation.
Yeah.
Like even when I had my American Express, like it was just built in my head that, oh my God, yeah, I have the American Express. Like I cannot wait to use this credit card, which sounds so stupid. I was excited to use somebody else's money.
Yeah.
And then struggle to pay it back later.
Yeah. Yeah, because like at first, you know, when you first apply for credit cards and you get approved for a certain amount, it's like, oh my gosh, I was approved for $6,000.
Yeah.
It's like, why is that a flex?
That's exactly like, oh my God,
$6,000 of not your money.
That's literally what it is.
It's weird because when you think about it now, you know, like how far we've come, it's like it's not a flex using your credit card. It's not a flex if you have $30,000 that you can use. Like, it's just not. It's so much better knowing that we bought this couch with real money.
Yeah.
Not a credit card.
Which is crazy.
Yeah.
We literally haven't used our credit cards. We're in January 2025 since like May-ish.
Yeah, that's
May-ish,
crazy.
March 2024. Every single thing we've bought in this house, which is a very, very big flex.
Yeah.
Every single thing. The couch we're sitting on, the TV, everything.
And keep in mind, we moved into this house with nothing.
With
like,
nothing.
If you follow my TikTok,
which you should, link in the description.
Yes.
Yeah.
You will see video of me stretching in the living room, and there's nothing in this house.
Yeah.
Literally no kitchen stuff, no living room stuff, no bed. Literally nothing. And so it's just so like, I feel so grateful that everything, single item in this place was bought off of discipline.
That's a perfect sentence. And the reason I say that is because it wasn't bought off of us making more money.
No.
Literally just discipline and following through with this plan.
Yeah, and if anything, we're making less money.
Yes, because now you're on paternity leave.
Yeah, which
so
is...
technically we're making less money. Combined, we're making less money.
Yeah.
But are able to buy more. What?
How does that make sense? That's a great little section in there.
Yes.
We're making less money, but we're able to buy more.
It makes no sense.
No, it doesn't.
It will though if you watch this whole entire video and follow this plan.
Yeah.
Because it literally is just discipline.
Yeah.
Which I think is a false... People say, when I have more money, it will be easier. But one of my favorite sayings is that money doesn't like change who you are. It just amplifies who you already are. Mm-hmm. So if you already can't budget and overspend, making more money won't change that. It will just amplify that. Mm-hmm. Or if you already save, if you're already disciplined, like when we talk about when we start making more money, all we talk about is increasing our allowances because the discipline is still there. So we'll still have our discipline. We'll just be able to have more allowance and spend freely on more things.
Yeah, no, definitely it's kind of like when with raising the allowance, it's like the idea of, you know, you get approved for $1,000 more on your credit card.
Yeah.
It's like, ooh, I got more money. But this time it's like, okay, you start off with this, now you raise it to this, and it's like, oh, it feels so good because, you know, you're not getting more money from the bank. You're getting more money to
guilt-free.
Guilt-free
spending. Yeah.
So it's like, it's the same thing. The same thing is happening, whether it's the credit card or, you know, actual money. It's just, you're not having to pay it back after, which is just so much better.
So much better. It's such a flex. But yeah, I think, the fact that, okay, should we get into the plan?
Let's get into the plan.
So the very first thing you're going to want to do is you're going to write down all of your monthly expenses. This, for you, when I told you about this, you were like, I don't know about
I literally,
this.
I was embarrassed. I didn't want to write that down. Like, I remember writing it down and knowing that, like, I'm going to have to show you the paper. But I'm writing it down and I'm like, and then I'm like, oh my gosh, like, he's going to have to see this. Like, it was really, really hard for me to do that.
Yeah.
But, like, even just, like, the second I wrote it down and I saw it, it was it was definitely scary.
Yeah.
But I felt, honestly, an instant relief after writing it down and just being like, okay, let's figure this out.
Yes.
But yeah.
There's this analogy, I think it's called an analogy, I don't even know, but it's like, where it's, there's a tiger behind a closed door. And you know there's a tiger behind the closed door. So you don't want to open the door. But the longer you take to open that door, the bigger the tiger gets. Oh. So it's the same thing in your head. You know that you have to write it down, But the longer it takes for you to write it down, the more it builds up in your head, the more scary it gets. It's like, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God. But as soon as you do, you're like, oh, wasn't that bad?
No, I literally just like remember you telling me to write it down. I'm like, is he serious?
Yeah.
Okay.
Because most people literally don't know what to spend their money on.
And
the majority of people.
And it's funny because every time we go back and we kind of talk about the beginning of this process, and even when we were doing like long distance and I was working at the daycare, making good money, I look back on it now and I'm still like,
where did it
damn, where did all that money go? Like I didn't have anything to pay. I had a phone bill.
That was it.
That was all
and
the
your
expense
credit card
and my
payments.
credit cards.
Yeah.
But it's like, why was I using my credit cards? Why wasn't I using the money that I was getting?
Yeah.
Like I literally to this day, I'm just like, it's frustrating now to know that I know all these tips and tricks and I have this discipline that it's just like, all that money.
The best time to plant a tree was yesterday. The second best time is today. I think that's the same.
Yeah, it sounds good.
Sounds good. But yeah, write down all of your expenses is step one. Every single dollar, every single cent. I remember when I first did this, I had an iCloud that was like $1.39 monthly subscription. I wrote that down. Every single cent. What you should do as well is look at your statement from your bank for the past 3 months and look, everything that reoccurs, write that down. Whether it's $2, $10, $100, every single expense.
Like
all
random
of
subscriptions.
Your payments, your debt, every single thing.
And which has to do with that is when we were doing this and you were writing down all your expenses, one of them, because then, before I say that, with writing down all your expenses, you can see, oh, do I really need that? And so one of them that you decided to, which was like $12, was your Spotify.
Exactly.
And I was like, why are you going to cancel your Spotify? That doesn't make any sense. But it's worked. We just share a Spotify account.
Yeah.
Like, we need the Spotify in general. Like, what are we going to do? Not listen to music.
Yeah. But
we don't need to.
Yeah. We'll get to that later in the future steps. But
okay.
So that's a very good point that you actually brought up.
Okay.
So the part of step one, which is like step 1.5, is you want to write down and actually star all the ones that are changeable. So the ones that are not a necessity, and the ones that are, let's say, for example, groceries, that is a variable from month to month. So it's not a set amount. Rent, for example, that's a set amount. That's we have to pay this much a month. No matter if we use less or we use more, it's still this amount. For example, electricity, you would start that one because it fluctuates.
Fixed variable?
It's not fixed. It's a variable, So it's a variable expense. If you spend less, the electricity bill goes down. If you spend more, it goes up.
And so with that, the best way that we've been able to manage that is to always what's the word?
Overestimate.
Overestimate, So just put down more than you think it's going to be. Because then when it actually comes time, you'll probably always have a little bit of extra money.
Exactly. If it's a variable, again, look at your previous 3 statements and just use the highest amount. Yeah. You always want to play it safe, especially with the budget. So that's the first step, okay? And then step 2 is if you get paid on a bi-weekly basis like we do, we all separate it. So we have all of our expenses, and then we have from the 1st to the 15th, these are the bills that need to get paid. From the 16th to the 30th or the 31st, these are the bills that have to get paid. That way we can see this is how much we spend on the first 2 weeks, and this is how much we spend on the second half of the month.
So, question. So if, like, for example, because what am I trying to say? So when you like set payments, with people who aren't doing this, like managing their money and when things are going to be paid like that, do you think it's a good idea to maybe have to change, like, let's say when something gets taken out, like your phone bill, like, is it worth like splitting them up or do you know what I'm kind of trying to say? Like,
it's a very great question. I think it all depends, which we'll get to when we talk about the income. But it depends on how much of a deficit, how much money you have left over at the end of each one. Let's say, for example, if I know that my expenses are so much higher in the first 2 weeks, But in the last 2 weeks, I barely pay for anything.
Yeah.
Then I can kind of pay in advance for
Yeah.
the phone bill using the second one. That way I could like move it over.
So sometimes, it might just be a good idea to, have that more expensive beginning of the month and then the less expense at the end.
I would say keep it as close as possible unless
Yeah.
there's a big difference. Like I think for us right now, our first 2 weeks are the cheaper side and then
Yeah.
our next 2 weeks are the more expensive.
Yeah.
Regardless of how it's fixed, as long as you can pay for everything, which when we get to the income, I don't think it matters as much, but it is a preference thing. It's very customizable.
Yeah.
So as long as you have, again, it's written down, make sure all this is written down on paper or on a notebook. That way it's a plan
You can
that
see
you
it.
that you follow. And then it's not like I feel like doing this time. Or I feel like doing this time. It has to be seeable and
Yeah.
written down so that you can follow it.
Yeah.
That is a great question though. So once you have your expenses, all of your expenses, every single one, what you're gonna want to do next is give yourself a play account, which
My
is
favorite.
it's also my favorite. It's very very important.
Yes.
So this play account is your guilt-free spending. Key emphasis on guilt-free spending. It's your
Yeah.
allowance. It's your adult allowance.
Yeah.
Right? And every single, whether you want to do it monthly or bi-weekly, I think we do bi-weekly. So every single paycheck, we each get, well now, it used to be $50 each person.
Yeah, which this is one where you really have to if you know that you spend, like $100 on, food, then just do $100 because if you go lower and then the week goes on and then you spend over, then you failed. So it's like, again, like you're saying, always overestimate.
Sorry,
because
for food, like as in groceries or like
no, like
your play account.
the play account.
So like your snacks.
Yeah.
Your extracurricular random snacks.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think you have to just be honest with yourself. Give yourself an amount that you can afford, but at the same time, give yourself enough to be able to not have to go over and take from a different account.
Yeah. I think that's a very, very important point once again, because if it's too low, you will only discourage yourself.
Yeah.
You'll feel like, oh, this doesn't work. I can never
Yeah.
stick to it. So yeah, it is very important that you are honest with yourself.
Yeah.
Honest with yourself, but be smart.
Yeah.
Which is why it's good to, again, have a plan. Because you can be like, hey, I typically spend $200. Okay, let me look at my statements. Oh, McDonald's? I
Yeah.
could probably cut that out.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
I can
look
probably at McDonald's maybe once.
exactly. Be very realistic, but write down an amount that you think you can keep yourself accountable to. Right. And again, once we get into the income, this might shift. But for now, for this step, just make sure you give yourself an allowance that you're happy with. Again, if you're in a relationship, which most of you guys are if you're watching this, make sure you guys both set an allowance that you guys can both keep each other accountable for.
Yeah.
I feel like a very big benefit of having a partner is that you literally have an accountability partner with you. You cannot be afraid to call out your partner and vice versa. If you guys are both going over every single month, sit back. We have literally had conversations. What is it? Our groceries.
Yeah.
Our groceries, we first had it at what 150. I think we started at 150.
Yeah.
And then we did 200.
Yeah.
And then we kept it accountable. We're like, hey, we're clearly not sticking to $200.
Yeah.
It's gone over every single one.
Yeah.
Let's adjust it.
Yeah.
Let's plan for it.
Yeah.
Again, that's the best part about this plan and this budget is you don't feel bad if you can't stick to it. It's all about, hey, what can we do to make it work?
Yeah, and like
What do we have to adjust?
Yeah, like what's working, like it might not work the first time you set the budget. That's okay. Don't give up. Try again. Just set things a little bit higher, set things a little bit lower. And another one that I was going to say is because you were saying, is when you're in a relationship and let's say because for us, we both gave each other $50. But like, if you know that I spend more, like this time we've decided I get 75 and you stick with 50. Let's see how that works. Like, it's okay. It doesn't have to be the same amount for both people.
Exactly. No, it does not. That's where, again, just being as realistic as possible. Because, again, I barely ever spend my 50.
Yeah.
You typically always spend it. And especially now with the baby, we also give the baby an allowance, but you might want to buy some stuff just to buy some stuff. So
you got your own allowance to get some
she has as much money as me.
Yeah,
That's crazy.
What are you gonna spend it on?
That's crazy. We're about to buy her a whole bunch of sucky thingies, whatever they're called, pacifiers.
And some more soothers.
Some more soothers.
She loves them. So.
Yeah, but yes, again, keep each other very accountable and be very honest with yourself.
Yeah.
So now you have all of your expenses, every single one, every single dollar. Every single dollar. It is so important that literally you don't miss an expense, no matter how small, how big.
Yeah.
You start the ones that are exchangeable or variables, the ones that you have an impact on how high they go or how low they go, like groceries, all that stuff. There's a star on each of those ones. Yeah. Next, you're gonna write down all of your income. Again, so we have both of our incomes. We have this paycheck, I get this much. This paycheck, you get this much. This, we get this from this. Even if it's not a paycheck, if it's, let's say, your side hustle, as long as, again, it's a monthly recurring income, write that down. So you're going to write down every single one of your incomes, both for the first 2 weeks, if you're doing it bi-weekly, and the next 2 weeks, or just for the whole month.
And this is like kind of like a random side note, but even when it comes to like different months and what you're going to get, what we've like even done as well is, because everyone gets taxes, but like, you know, log into those, see when you're going to get that money so you can kind of plan for that.
Yeah.
And because, don't forget to sign on. Those are some nice surprises to add to those months.
Exactly. We always plan ahead. We're like, hey, in January, we're getting this much, this much, this much. Let's add it to our income.
Yeah.
That way we know ahead how much money we're going to have left over so we can plan for where that money goes.
Yeah. So then
because if we don't plan for it, it's going, we'll get to it later on when we talk about our bank and having a name for every single thing.
Okay.
But we've had instances where we'll talk about it later on. We'll talk about it later on. Keep watching. Is it still recording?
Yes.
Okay, so keep watching. But, so you have all of your expenses.
Is this still recording?
Yeah, you look cute.
Okay.
So you have all of your expenses. You have all of your income. And now you're going to want to get the difference, right? So let's say you make $2,000 every single month. And your expenses were $800 every single month. In fact, let's do bi-weekly because we do bi-weekly. So which is also more reasonable. I don't think $1,800 per month, that's very cheap. If that's your expenses, you're lucky. But let's say you make $2,000 every single paycheck bi-weekly, and your expenses every single paycheck are $1,800. The difference is $200.
Yeah.
Okay? That $200 is where you have to be disciplined and decide where that difference goes beforehand. So this is what we mean by give it a name. The way we're doing it, we're following the Dave Ramsey debt snowball method. So the first little bit of money always goes towards the savings. So you build up your starter emergency fund, which is $1,000. After that, again, we don't use credit cards. We're trying to pay off our debts. So after the $1,000, we would be putting that difference, which is $200 every single month, into our
a credit card.
Into a credit card, exactly.
But the
You're
one
paying that down.
What was it? The highest?
With the debt snowball, the one that's the lowest. Not the lowest
the
monthly payment, but the lowest total value. That way you can get it out the way.
And so, like, example for this one, the lowest that we had on there was my phone bill. And then, you know, like, the highest was like one of your line of credit. So you're not going to go to the line of credit and just put in $200 for something that's like
for 10 years.
Yeah. So you're going to go to the one that my phone was like $800, and let's say, you know, you have $200 left over, you just put the whole full $200 in the lowest one.
Now, the main thing that people say is to this is like, oh, but that means I have no more leftover money. So what if I need to buy this?
And again, I'm guilty for that. I was like, what about we need some extra money? What if I need it? Like, there's going to be no money in the checking account. What do you mean? Like, this was a crazy thing for me to wrap my head around. I'm like, there's no way I can just go on knowing that there's no money just sitting there in an account. That sounded crazy to me.
Because most people think that. But yes, which is a good point. You never want to leave money in your checking account, which we'll get to when we talk about our bank.
Not even a dollar.
And how we section it. But yes, in fact, we don't even have a checking account.
No, but the thing is there has been times where there are points where we didn't know where we're going to put this money, and then the money just sits there, and then we're like, oh, we just spent that.
We just spent it, yeah.
And where did it go? Yeah. So it really does show that if you don't put something...
Hold on. We'll talk about it when we get to the bank stuff.
Oh, sorry. Getting ahead of myself.
You're too excited to talk about the bank. Because the bank is amazing. You're too excited.
Okay. We're not there yet.
We're not there yet.
Okay,
So what are we talking about? Oh, we're talking about the difference. So yes, people are going to be like, oh, what if I need to buy some random stuff and I have no money? That's the point of having a plan. you shouldn't have random stuff because you already accounted for your groceries, you already accounted for your rent, you already accounted for your allowance. So that's what you should be using all your random small purchases for. So this is the money that you said, hey, I don't need this money.
Yeah.
Yes. That's if you have a positive. So if you have $200 left over. If you have a negative, that means your expenses are way too much and you're overspending every single paycheck.
Yeah.
The reason we started all of the fluctuating ones, the variable ones, such as groceries or electricity bill or even the allowance, the reason those are started is because if you are in a negative every single paycheck, go back and look at those. Which again, is she sleeping?
I think she might have just
Pooped?
I thought it felt like some little like
Air.
yeah.
Yeah. Which again, this is where we go back and talk about the Spotify, which to me was an optional one. So that I was started. And we go back and look at our groceries and our allowance. If as soon as, again, like I said, I rebudgeted as soon as you told me you were pregnant because I went back and looked at that paper. I'm like, this is started, this is started, this is started. iCloud immediately gone. I don't need this. We need to increase our deficit.
Yeah.
We need more money left over every single paycheck to make this work.
Yeah.
So Spotify, immediately gone.
Yeah.
Groceries, how can we lower that? Allowance, how can we lower that? Every single thing that started that wasn't a rent, insurance, all that stuff, I assessed every single one. Mm-hmm. I'm like, do I really need this? Mm-hmm. And for the longest time, I needed Spotify. Mm-hmm. Really need? Need? No, you do not. This is where your priorities play such a big factor.
Yeah.
You only need something until something more important comes up. And I needed Spotify until you got pregnant. Mm-hmm. I was like, all of a sudden, I can go without listening to Rod Wave. All of a sudden, Drake isn't, I don't need, and these, like, come on, you don't need it. Again, all the phone bill, immediately started looking, okay, how can we lower our phone bill?
Yeah.
Groceries, okay, do we really need to spend $500 on groceries?
Yeah.
You know, if you are still watching this video, first things first, thank you for watching. And second thing is, please, please, please make sure to hit that subscribe button. Our goal is to get to 1,000 subscribers by the end of 2025. And as long as you continue to support us, we think it is very, very doable. So please, if you haven't yet, hit the subscribe button. If you know somebody who would enjoy this podcast, whether it's for entertainment or for self-improvement, whatever it is, make sure to share it with them. And last thing I want to say is that if you prefer to listen to the audio, we are on Spotify, Apple, and Amazon as well. All the links will be in the description. So however you want to listen or view the podcast, we are available. So please make sure to subscribe, make sure to follow us, and thank you once again for supporting us. Let's get back to the video. This is when you assess, if you're in a deficit, it's very important that you assess all of the started options that are variables. Mm-hmm. Does that part make sense?
Yes.
Yeah, okay. After you do that, so let's say you're in a positive, we already discussed that because of savings, or the other one, which are your debts. If you're in a negative, find a way to lower that. Mm-hmm. Now, we begin talking about how you organize all of this.
My favorite part.
Which is the best part. The reason you were saying that we have no checkings account is because the way our bank is set up, mm-hmm. we literally have all the sections that we need.
Yeah.
So we have a deposit account. These are named, by the way.
Yeah, these are the names of the accounts.
Yeah, these are not just checking 1, checking 2, checking 3, checking 4. We have 9 different accounts I checked today.
9?
We have 9 different checking accounts.
Yes.
And
different accounts that have money in them.
Yes. Yeah. So these are, again, you always want to give your money a name.
Yeah.
So all of our money has a name and has a job and has a purpose. As you were saying, we never leave money unaccounted for, mm-hmm. because if it's unaccounted for, we've had instances where it's just sitting in our deposit account, which is where all the money comes in when we get our paychecks. Mm-hmm. It goes in a deposit account. We've had instances where we just buy random stuff.
Yeah.
So yes, you can believe in your own discipline, but it's easier if you just take that out of the equation totally. And just as soon as you get paid, put it where it belongs to go.
And I think even sometimes, let's say like, you know, if you've separated everything already, everything's got like where it goes and you've put, you know, mm-hmm. all that, mm-hmm. and you still have kind of like money left over. Mm-hmm. still to not leave it just in
Yes.
this account. Let's
Yeah.
say, maybe you have still $100, but you've kind of already put everything everywhere. Then take it and put a little bit in each account. Because again, if it just sits there, it's like,
Yeah. What I would even suggest is that if you do have leftover, it goes to the plan, the savings.
yeah, if you're doing right.
It immediately goes to the savings or it goes to the debt.
Yeah.
Like, because you already gave yourself your allowance. You said you'll stick to $50 a month bi-weekly.
Yeah.
Stick to that.
Yeah.
If you have $200 left over, don't immediately say, oh, I guess now to pay for vacation. No, you have a plan, put it towards the savings and stick to whatever you said you're going to want to do or put it towards the debt.
Yeah.
But yes, so in our bank, we have every single dollar named. So we have our deposit account. When we get paid, it goes there. We have our payments account. So this is where we would move our payments to. Let's say if so it's tappable. So our card that we have, our physical card, is connected to the payment account. But you can actually change it, which we'll discuss about the bank later on. We have our allowances. So you have an allowance, I have an allowance, and now Elle has an allowance. We have our
Which is named.
Named,
It's like
yes.
Ushindi's allowance, Tiara's allowance.
and Elle's allowance.
Yeah.
Yes. Everything needs to be named.
So that's 5 accounts. 5.
So far?
Yeah.
Okay, so let's see if I can remember all of them.
Yeah, you got it.
I thought I screenshotted it, but I didn't. So
Yeah.
we have those 5. We have
Yeah.
our gas
Gas.
account, groceries.
Groceries.
We have savings.
7.
And
8.
that's 8. And then we have rent.
Rent. 9.
So that's all.
You killed it.
Yeah, I body that. So that's 9 accounts that we have. Every single paycheck, we distribute money towards that specific account. Every single one. There's not a dollar that's unnamed, theoretically. If you're doing it right, there shouldn't be a dollar that's unnamed. If there is, put it towards the savings.
So question, when, like, let's say, at the end of those 2 weeks, you put $200 in for groceries. But what if you're left with $13?
Also, so that would fall over.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the next one, let's say, is $200. The next one would be $200 plus the $13 that you already have there.
Yeah.
So, for example, when we did gas yesterday, we only used $30. There's still $30 in the account. So if we don't fill up to the next one, then it'll be $60 plus $90.
Right, because we put in 60.
put in
accounted for $60 for gas every 2 weeks.
Yeah. So again, to the point, we don't immediately be like, oh, $30 more to our allowance. No.
Yeah.
That's already, it already has a name to it. It's
Yeah.
not our money anymore.
No.
That's
It's
gas
gas money.
Exactly. That's literally gas. It's not our, that's the best way to put it.
Yeah.
As soon as you allocate money to a specific account, that's no longer your money.
Yeah.
Like I've never been like, oh, we're broke now. Let's take from your allowance.
Yeah.
In fact, I make it important that you use your allowance for your allowance regardless.
Yeah.
Like that's Tiara's allowance is money for guilt-free spending. And it'll be the same with Elle with her allowance now. No matter what it is, we can never be like, oh, I want McDonald's, let's use her allowance. No.
No.
That's not our money no more. Yeah.
Yeah. Unless you want to share your money and
Yeah,
you can
Elle.
be like, let's put our money together.
Exactly, which is a very good point. Because, for example, date nights.
Yeah.
Now, here's where we go all the way back to it's never a who's paying for this.
Yeah.
And it's like, okay, let's decide beforehand.
Yeah.
If it's your date night and you want to be spontaneous still, you still can use your allowance. If I want to be spontaneous, I can use my allowance. If it's we both planning our date night, we can be like, instead of I use all my $50, what if you use 25 and I use 25 and then we have 50 collectively?
Yeah.
Or even you can get very smart with it, and this way it gets kind of fun, where it's like, okay, we kind of need to buy this for the house.
Yeah.
Should we use both of our allowance? Because separately we only have $50 each.
Yeah.
Together we have $100.
Yeah.
So again, this is where you can have those fun little
And
conversations.
now we can buy our coffee table.
Now we can buy a coffee, which we should talk about that. But yeah, so it's literally, you can make it a game,
Yeah.
but
Which makes it fun.
I think it is fun.
And I think naming the accounts, adding little emojis on them also makes it really fun.
Yeah.
It makes spending money fun.
It really does. And the thing is, as well, as I said earlier, it is no resentment.
No.
Like when you leave the house and get Starbucks, I'm not like, oh my God, she's using our money for Starbucks.
Yeah.
We have no money. That's literally your allowance. I do not care.
Yeah.
That's the best part. It's guilt-free spending on whatever you want.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So then if you really don't, if you really want like something, you can save and not spend that $50, and then it adds up. And then,
Exactly, which is what I'm excited to teach our kid and all of the kids about is a delayed gratification. Like, yes, your allowance as of now is only $50, but we've discussed it where it's like, oh, I really want this. It's more than $50. Okay, then for this 2 weeks, be disciplined. Don't spend your allowance. Save it. You get another 50 in another 2 weeks. Now you have $100. Those are the lessons that I'm excited to teach our kids. It's the delayed gratification.
Yeah.
It's like, do you want one cookie now, or do you want to wait 10 minutes and get 2 cookies?
Yeah. Which is our generation doesn't know.
It doesn't. It doesn't.
And we're guilty of it too. Like
Very.
we use Amazon for everything because we know it can come in 2 days.
Yeah. And that's why credit cards are so popular, because there is no delayed gratification.
Yeah.
If you want something now, you don't have to wait for your paycheck.
No.
You can just get it right now.
Yeah.
Just pull out, tap it, you're good.
Yeah. But you feel so much better and so proud of yourself when you're able to not use the credit card and buy it with.
Yeah. The mental relief is just, you also have much more belief and confidence in yourself. Like now my siblings always message me, they're like, oh, you're good with money.
Yeah.
That's such a flex.
Yeah.
To be good with money.
Yeah.
Because we follow this plan.
Of course.
Okay. So now here's what people are like, oh, how do I separate all my accounts and how do I have all of this? Like I only have a checkings and a savings. It's 2025. You don't need to go with the common regular banks.
Which is so, yeah. Which is so weird to think that that's how it, like, most people have it.
Yeah,
it's
checkings
just
and
you
savings.
just have a checking and a savings.
Like even in my CIBC account, I only have a checkings and a savings.
Well, that's how, like, I feel like you start. Like, as a kid, you have your checking, your allowance, because, you know, you don't have anything to...
As a kid and as an adult, your whole life.
And then you have your savings,
Your whole life. People only have checkings and savings. Like, this idea of having more than named accounts was so foreign to me until my old boss told me about it.
Yeah.
I was like, wait, you can create another account and rename it? I thought just checking and savings.
Not with just, like, all banks.
Not with all banks. Which is where we get to... This video is not sponsored by this bank. We just genuinely love it.
Yes.
It's cracked.
No, it is. It literally just, for me, makes budgeting so much fun.
So much fun. So easy.
Enjoy budgeting.
Yes.
I enjoy looking at our bank accounts now.
I enjoy opening the app.
I think that's another thing that we didn't mention.
Yeah.
Before we did all this is separately, for me at least, and then you can mention yours, but I like delayed opening my bank account. Knowing that I had to open up my bank account to see if I had enough money was just, I hated the idea of knowing that I had to open up the app and see how much money I had. But now I'm like, oh, let me see. Oh, yeah, okay.
Yeah.
And it's just like, it feels so much better. Like, I enjoy, like you said, opening up the app.
I literally open it and just refresh it and just close it. Like, I open it like probably every hour. But yeah, I think without this bank, I don't think it would be this consistent at all. Again, this is not sponsored.
I literally think everyone should have this bank.
Everyone.
If you don't have it, what are you doing?
If you do not have it, it's literally free.
Yeah.
Okay, we'll talk about the benefits in a bit, but it's literally free. Once you say the name, we'll talk about the benefits. And there are a lot of benefits.
A lot.
But I do want to get this out the way. It is not sponsored. We genuinely do love this bank.
Yeah.
For current purposes, for future investments, which we'll talk about, for savings, for convenience. We both have it on our phones. We're both under one. We have a physical card. We have checks that we got for free.
Nope, you're okay.
We're talking about the bank, and now you're crying?
Need to switch positions.
No, you're good. Okay, but although it's not sponsored, there is a link in the description. It's a referral link. First of all, the bank we're talking about is WealthSimple. If you've never heard about WealthSimple, you're welcome. This is literally the put-on of the year.
It is.
If you ever take any advice or any little note from us, it's get this bank.
She's like,
She's like, yeah, you better. Because it's WealthSimple, right? The link in the description is a referral link. If you use it and sign up and create your one account and deposit $100, so begin using it, you get $25 and we get $25. So it's literally a win-win. It's not sponsored, but I highly suggest you guys use the referral link. That way you get a free $25. It's literally free money.
And this is literally if you want to make spending money and budgeting fun, this is the bank for you.
This is literally the bank. It's modern for young adults as well, which is my favorite part is that it's so modern.
Yeah.
So
And
sorry,
the physical card is really pretty.
Yes. So I wish I had it. So you get so it is an online bank. They do have branches that you can go to that are affiliated with the big banks.
Oh, really?
I think they have it in the US as well. Yeah, but yeah, they do. So if you need absolute help, you can either go online or you can find a branch that is affiliated. But it's an online bank. One of the main critiques people have about not having a credit card is that technically you need it for some pre-authorized payments, for hotels.
Or even online shopping.
But this, it's a MasterCard debit card.
Yeah.
So all of your payments you can use for this. Your pre-authorized payments, you can use the WealthSimple physical card, hotels. We haven't had, I think one time at Costco before they updated.
Yeah.
But we haven't been to a place where that it declined.
Yeah.
It's so convenient. We have Tap. We both have it on our phones. You log in, I log in. You can see the amounts, I can see the amounts. You can see online accounts, which is a very big benefit. It is so easy to create a cash account on this app.
Yeah.
Which is why it's so accessible to us who have 9 different accounts, because it's as simple as create account, name it, done.
Yeah.
And then every single paycheck, you can decide where you want to transfer those funds to. So again, every single one, we just deposit it into the different 9 accounts.
Yeah. And then also we use it to pay our credit cards as well. Through that bank, you can also pay your credit cards.
Exactly. So yeah, you could pay any single bill. If you have e-transfer, the limits are crazy. Unless you're Bill Gates, you probably will not go over the limits.
Yeah.
But we generally live and die by this bank.
Yes.
I'll put my reputation on this bank.
Yes.
If you do one thing, click the link in the description and get this bank.
Yeah.
One of the biggest benefits of WealthSimple is the investment account.
Yes.
So as of today,
It just goes up so fast.
It goes up so fast.
And you don't even notice it. Like it's just there and it just goes up so fast.
So one thing about WealthSimple is that they do have cashback. I think it's a 1% cashback, so it's not like the best, but it's still very good. I think it's the same as all the other banks. They also have interest, which is 3.5%. So for example, our savings account, it goes up automatically. Or even if we have money in our rent account, you get 3.5 interest every single month, or annually, I mean, which is good. But what they have is, the reason we weren't investing is because we were like, oh, we want to use our money for our savings, or we want to use our money for our debts. But they have something where you can immediately allocate your interest, your cashback, and one thing that is very cool about this bank is that they have something called a round-up spending, which means if you spend $1.29, it immediately rounds it up to $2, and the difference, which I think would be 71 cents, that immediately goes to your investing account. So every single time you spend money, you're also investing.
Oh, I didn't understand how that worked.
Did I explain that properly? Do you get it now?
Yeah, I do get it now. But because is that why every account we have earns money?
That's the interest.
Oh.
So that's the 3.5 interest.
Yeah, because that's also so random, because you'll just have an account when you put your money into the grocery store example, the money just sits there, but it's literally every single account is adding is interest.
Every single month. Yeah. So again, exactly. So it's 3.5 interest for every single account.
Yeah.
So all 9 of our accounts get interest every single month.
Yeah.
So they just go up.
Which is
so if you have a savings, that just goes up every single month, even if you're not adding to it.
And that's just with money sitting there.
And 3.5 is very good. Most banks don't have 3.5.
It lowered though.
I think it used to be 4. Oh, so in Canada, it lowers with prime rate. So the lower the prime rate changes in Canada, it lowers a little bit too. But when we signed up, it was 4% interest, which is very good. Yeah. But yes, so the round up spending, if you spend $1.29, it rounds up to $2. So every single time you spend, you're also investing. So it's literally a win-win.
Yeah.
And you never notice it. It's 71 cents.
I've never noticed that.
I've never noticed it. But you know what we have noticed? The fact that now we have, I think it's over $270 in our investments.
Yeah.
And we've never once personally put money towards it.
No. It's just from spending our money.
It's from spending our money for our benefits and the interest that we're getting.
Yeah, that's crazy.
And it's already at $270.
So that's how all of that interest is there from spending?
Yeah.
And it's like that roundup.
So the interest is just there regardless.
Yeah.
But this specific WealthSimple specifically, they have the roundup spending, which is a feature that they have, which most places do not. And it's literally cracked. When I found out about that, that was one of the main reasons alone that I wanted this bank. Because I'm like, literally every single time you spend money, you're investing in your future.
Yeah, that's.
So again, we've never once put $1 towards it personally. But yet we have over $270 invested in our investment accounts.
Like if you're still with RBC.
What are you doing? Grow up.
Embarrassing.
Yeah. Like no, WealthSimple, again, it's not a sponsored video, but the link in the description is a referral link. So we will get $25 and you'll get $25 as long as you deposit $100 to get started within 30 days. Also, another benefit is that while everybody gets paid on the 15th and the last day of the month, when we get paid, a day before.
Yeah.
Yeah. So,
and sometimes, depending on like, if it's a holiday or whatever, it can be like a couple days before.
Yeah. So it's always before anybody else though.
Yeah.
Like you always get it a day before anybody else, which is cracked. But because we're so disciplined, it's not really a big benefit. But some people, let's say,
really helpful.
It's very helpful for some people. Yeah. So which is a very big benefit. You always get your paycheck a day before.
Yeah.
WealthSimple. They should sponsor us.
They should.
Yeah.
It's literally.
I'm sending them this video.
Yeah, do it.
Yeah.
It's literally the bank.
It's the bank. I don't think without this bank, we would have gotten this far.
And it's literally just like so easy to use. It never like glitches.
Like, ever.
It's never like, like,
because it's an online bank. It's 2025.
It never has
it's very modern.
difficulties.
Exactly. Yeah. And it just looks so clean.
Yeah.
It's literally even the card, like you said, it's a flex.
Yeah, it's black with like gold. Like the logo is gold.
Yeah.
It's so pretty.
It's such a flex. It's not like the CIBC app or any of that.
No.
Yeah, it's such a flex. And you know what else is so cool?
What?
We've never had checks. You know what we did? We ordered
checks.
Yeah. We got free checks for no reason.
Because.
Yeah. When you open a payment account, you get 50 free checks. They send them. You don't pay for shipping, none of that. They just send them to you. Also, the physical card, you get that for free. They just send it to you.
Yeah.
It's cracked.
And because we have both of our names on the accounts, on the card.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah. So the way we have ours set up is, I think we use my account.
Yeah.
But our deposit account, that's set up as a shared account.
Yeah.
So let's say for your direct deposit information, it has your name and my name. Mm-hmm. So let's say if you give it your job, say, hey, this is my direct deposit, they're not like, oh, I know your name. It just has both names.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Again, WealthSimple.
Link in the description. Not
Hear
sponsored.
That? This is the bank you'll be using.
Oh, 100%. She already is. She has an allowance.
True.
She got whenever she gets a little phone, which is download the app.
A little phone?
Yeah.
When is she getting a phone?
Like 2 weeks. We'll add it to the budget. Okay. If you had one final tip to help a young couple who's either expecting a kid or they have a kid, or maybe they're just thinking about buying a house or budgeting better and just being smarter, or even just being more open with your partner about having these conversations, what's one thing that you would think has really helped us stay focused, stay locked in, and actually implement this budget and implement everything we've discussed in this video?
I think, honestly, just knowing how much debt each other has. Because being open. Mm-hmm. Because that's just, I think, everyone's biggest stressor is their debt. And so, if you're going to have a joint account with your partner, but you guys don't actually really know how much debt you're in, it's not going to work. So like you said, you have to be open. And if you are both just willing to have that conversation and to not judge each other and to accept, okay, your debt is my debt, and let's get this down together, then I think you'll be fine.
Yeah, it's such a hard conversation, but once you get that out the way, like that's one of the main arguments people have.
Which is so crazy, like, because we've never had to argue about money. Like, literally not one time ever argued about money.
Because it's in the open.
Yeah.
I know how much money you currently have. You know how much money I currently have. We know how much money collectively we currently have.
Yeah, and how much we owe.
Yeah, we know how much we owe. We know how much debt we have. It's not a surprise. What's there to argue about?
Yeah.
We got better things to worry about than money.
Literally.
Yeah. I think one advice I would get is
Wait. What's one advice that you would give? Let's hear it.
think of yeah.
No worries.
I think gotta build up the dramatic effect.
Right.
Yeah. I think one advice that I would give to a young couple that's starting out that would really change the trajectory of their relationship.
We already know this is going to be good.
Nah, I'm trying to think. That's why I'm dragging it on.
Oh.
I don't even know.
You're cute.
Honestly, it might just be something simple like start now.
Yeah.
Start now.
Write it down.
Write it down. Take the first step.
Yeah.
Because yes,
hardest.
it does. Like I said about the analogy about the tiger or whatever it is across on the other side of the door. The longer you wait, the harder it will get.
Mm-hmm.
And the deeper in the relationship you get, the more stress you have about who's paying for what. No matter if you've been dating for a month, as soon as you're serious about the person you're with, that's a good caveat. If you're serious that this is your partner and this is the person you want to spend the rest of your life with, you need to begin living your life together.
Yeah, because like imagine, sorry, this is funny, but imagine like we break up, like I've always said, and then it's like, we know how much debt each other has.
Yeah, no, like,
No.
we were married as soon as we started talking about finances.
Yeah.
It just makes the conversation more enjoyable. Like, we literally went on late night walks and just talked
About money.
about money.
I enjoyed it. Who does that?
Like, we always joke about it, but every single night we literally come out here, we interior, we design our
Like,
house.
so what are we gonna buy? Because we can afford it.
Exactly. And it just makes everything so much more fun.
Yeah, it
Like, you
does.
enjoy they're no longer tough conversations to have. It's more like, oh, yeah, what should we budget for next?
Yeah.
What should we use our allowance on?
Yeah.
Or should we have a date night this time?
Yeah.
So I think it would be just start, because as soon as you start, it would literally change everything. And that's just write down your expenses. If you do one thing after watching this video, is one, get WealthSimple using the referral link in the description.
Yeah.
And two, write down every single one of your expenses and just look at it.
Yeah.
It might be more than you think, it might be less than you think, it doesn't matter, but just look at it and accept it.
Yeah.
Because the first step is, I always hear people say this in the movies, so I think it is the first step. But the first step is acceptance. I've never been to Alcohol Anonymous, but I think that is the first step.
It is. It
Is
really
acceptance.
is. I think it's, yeah, I agree. Well, simple.
The bank for you.